Okay, so this is NewYorkSteelo back with part 2 of CPR AquaFuge Hang on the Back Refugium. And I'm gonna go into details about how it works, how water is fed into the system and back out. And I'm also gonna show you guys how I set it up and what it looks like with the deep sand bed, the Chaetomorpha, and some rubble rock. So the CPR, the AquaSea Hang on the Back skimmer, the Remora, is still sitting on the front of the tank, and the reason for that is because I'm giving it about a week to break in, and then I'm going to do a side-by-side review with the CPR backpack skimmer. So we're going to come up with some sort of an answer which one is better. So stay tuned for that video. Right now it's the night hours. The tank's a little foggy, a little dusty and whatnot, because I just finished setting up the Refugium. So there's micro bubbles in the system as well, and the reason for that is that the CPR AquaFuge is actually brand new. It also needs to break in and develop that slime, and then we're gonna see less and less micro bubbles. So let's look up here to the top of the unit itself, and as you can see, I've got the lights on the top of the AquaFuge Refugium. The lights are going to be on for 24 hours a day. I don't know if I'm going to keep it like that. For the time being, I'm going to keep it for 24 hours a day so that the Chaetomorpha algae really grows and starts to grow to a point that nutrients are going to be pulled out the system once I begin to prune it. So I'm going to show you guys what the system looks like inside, but before I do that, let me just talk a little bit about how the back side of it works and what I like about it. Now, one thing that I do like about it is that the back of the Refugium itself is actually black, and that is a great feature because it prevents the light from the main display from going into the Refugium, and it also prevents the light from the Refugium going into the main display. So that's a great feature that was added into these newer systems. The older systems, the entire Refugium was actually transparent. So we're going to look here, and we're going to see a pump that's sitting here. It's actually very small. It's an AquaVia 820 water pump that goes connected into the Refugium, that feeds the Refugium with tank water. Now, this pump itself is a little over 200 gallons per hour, but it does come with a ball valve attached to the top of it. You can see it there, and with this ball valve you can control the amount of flow that goes into the Refugium. So if we look over to the output of the Refugium, you will see it here. Now, this is another great feature from this Refugium which you cannot get from an in-sump Refugium. Because the water gravity falls back into the main display, a lot of the critters that multiply and themselves in the Refugium are going to make it into the display and are going to end up feeding the fishes. So it's got the output pipe coming out, and you can see it's pointing over this way. It's creating micro bubbles, but that's going to soon stop, in its time being. So let's look into what the Refugium looks like inside. I'm going to show you both sides. Now, here you can see I've set it up. Now, in the first stage, as you remember from video number 1, there is a divider that divides the first stage with the entire Refugium, and that divider allows you to put a nice deep sand bed on the back of that divider and prevents the sand from going into the first stage, which is this black tube coming down here where the water feeds the Refugium. As you can see, I've added a ChemiPure bag, and this is another great feature of this Refugium, that you can add some sort of chemical filtration in the first stage. And as you can see, deep into the Refugium, I've got a 4-inch deep sand bed with some rubble rock and some Chaetomorpha that I took from my 90-gallon system. I've also got my heater in here, and that is another really good aspect of this hang on the back Refugium, is that it can also serve as a pump, as a sump. So most of my equipment is going to go in here. I will be replacing the heater. I've got another heater coming in sometime Thursday from Marine Depot, and I'm going to be doing a video on that as well. But let's go over to the other side of the Refugium and show you what it looks like in the return side. And as you can see here, it's got the area on the top that overflows the water into this little boxed in area, which gravity feeds and falls back into the main display. And on the bottom here, I've got a couple of other pieces of rubble and a 3.5 to 4 inch deep sand bed. Now the rock, I'm only placing it there for the purpose of seeding the sand bed. I may actually get rid of this rubble rock in time, but I don't know if you can see that well, but there are already streaks and tunnels being formed on the sand bed, and that's because some of the life is already moving from the rock to the Refugium itself. Now I want to show you quickly the top of the Refugium without the lights. So I'm going to take these lights, I'm going to put them on the side here, and just kind of give you a view of what it looks like on the top. It's actually a pretty nice unit. It's really big. It's 25.5 inches. It holds almost 5 gallons of total water volume and adds more water to your system, meaning more water equals a more stable environment. Now, one thing that I want to touch up before I finish up with this video is that I don't know if I'm gonna keep the Refugium on the right side of the 30-gallon system, or if I'm gonna move it over to the left. Now, the CPR, the AquaSea Remora fits perfectly in this little area. However, I'm still thinking about whether or not I'm gonna put it on the left or the right side. Once I do a quick update on this 30-gallon system, I'll show you which route I went. And I'm just really overall happy with the entire Refugium here. It's working really well. So with that said, this is NewYorkSteelo with yet another video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, voice your opinion, and I'll be more than willing and happy to answer you back and reply to your comments. So this is NewYorkSteelo signing out. Peace.